wasn't me, it was her.
The guy was a creep. He kept hassling me.
I've grown very fond of you, Alice. It's good being here. It's good to have company. I've enjoyed it.
You've enjoyed being waited on hand and foot.
I've been lucky with the Gigi's. And I've got this for you.
A ring? What's that supposed to mean?
What does a man usually mean when he gives a ring to a woman? He wants to marry her.
What did you say?
Will you marry me, Alice? What have you to say?
There's the road. There's your bags. There's the door. Shut it after you.
Are you sure?
I am quite sure.
They've been up to the pool and taken samples. It was organophosphates. It's old stuff, so it's very concentrated and illegal.
Kill him?
Yeah, well, there's no way of proving it belonged to Eric. Not unless you stand up and speak the truth.
Whatever you need me to say, Doctor, you just let me know, all right? He's not going to get away with this. I don't care what he does to me.
We're over the worst. His oxygen saturation is picking up nicely. He's relying less on the ventilator.
Sure about that, yeah?
Yes. Hopefully we can get him out of ITU and into a paediatric ward tomorrow.
What about long-term effects?
Doesn't look like there'll be any. But if you hadn't acted as promptly as you did, it might have been a different story. He could have ended up with anoxic brain damage.
Come and see him.
Of course. Stay as long as you like.
Oh, thanks, Doctor. Thanks for everything.
Put some down here to stop it lifting. You're trespassing.
I hope you're satisfied. Child nearly died because of you.
What are you talking about?
Jack Horsfield. Fell into some illegal sheep dip dumped where he was playing. And with Simon's help, the police aren't going to have any problem tracing it back to here. You're a crook and a bully. I'm personally going to make sure you pay for it, and I don't care who you report me to.
Well, Billy, I think I can finally sign you off.
Thank you, Doctor. I feel top of the world.
Oh, hello, Doctor. I bought Billy's lunch for him. Now, you make sure you eat that straight away before it gets cold.
Don't worry. I'll have it right now.
Aye, and it's treacle sponge today, so I got you a couple, because I know how you like them. Well.
I see Billy is still getting the special treatment.
Oh, well, I keep him in order, you know.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Well, you know what us girls are, Doctor. Never could resist a rogue.
You're packed.
You asked me why I came here. The truth is, I've nowhere else to go. The other partners want me to retire.
You've got a couple of years left in you yet.
Oh, I'm getting past it. I've been making mistakes, little ones. But we both know you can't afford to do that in this game.
Well, where will you go?
Don't know. If I haven't got my job and I haven't got you, what have I got?
Well, look, stay here for a bit, at least till you've decided what to do.
What'd be the point?
We've got a lot to sort out. We might end up killing each other, but it's worth a try.
You look so like your mother now, I can't believe it.
I still think about her.
Your child is just 3 clicks away from a predator.
And you might be sitting there now thinking this can't happen to your family, but sadly it can.
Discover how the internet paedophiles are slipping through the net. Tonight with Trevor McDonald in 20 minutes.
And with the latest on the foot and mouth outbreak in the ITV News at 10 next tonight.
Peak practice with skin confidence. On call 24 hours a day.
Lovely day, Mrs. Campbell.
None of you are a fox.
The passion of the hunt.
You had no right to go behind my back.
The thrill of the chase.
You seem to have got off on the wrong foot.
Love can be a cruel sport. Amanda Holden in the drama premiere, The Hunt. Wednesday at 9, ITV.
They completely restructured and here I've outlined.
Excuse me. I've got to get to Greg.
Nothing satisfies like a Greg's baguette. Freshly made in the shop throughout the day from only £1.35. Greg's. Great taste, great value.
This is the power of television. To get on TV, get on the phone.
This is Carlton with the news.
Farmers' fury as the mass slaughter begins. Shoppers' anger over the puzzling high price of meat. On a children's ward, an inquiry into 4 deaths. And Liverpool continue the English triumph in Europe.
From ITN, the ITV News at 10 with Trevor McDonald.
Good evening. A ruthless new slaughter policy to try to snuff out foot and mouth disease was announced today. It could see the destruction of hundreds of thousands of healthy sheep and pigs, and there are signs tonight that some farmers are prepared to fight it. Their national leader called this new slaughter program grim but necessary, but not all are convinced. The Agriculture Minister Nick Brown, who announced it 23 days into the epidemic, called it a safety-first policy. Lawrence McGinty has the details.
Another day, and once again the flames of a terrible animal pyre lick the skies. But from tonight it's different. From now on the fires will consume not only infected herds, but also animals that aren't infected but are at strong risk of getting the disease. It's a bitter medicine.
This is totally unheard of. You don't know what's going to come. You don't know who's coming in and what's going to happen. You can remember what did happen, and you're thinking on your mind, are they going to come in? Is this the end? Is this the finish? Is this how we're going out?
The Farmers' Union calls this slaughter of the innocents grim but necessary. Some farmers find it impossible to stomach. Mr Brown says sadly they
Mr.
must.
Speaker, this is a policy of safety first. We're intensifying the slaughter of animals at risk in the areas of the country, thankfully still limited, where the disease has spread.
The new measures mean condemning hundreds of thousands of healthy animals. In Cumbria and Dumfries and Galloway, all pigs and sheep within 3 kilometres of confirmed cases will be slaughtered. Any sheep which went through markets in Longtown, Welshpool and Northampton will be traced and killed. And in Devon, vets will carry out intensive patrols within the 3 kilometre zones of infected farms. Today's measures come too late for farmers in many areas. On day 23 of the epidemic, there have been 18 new cases, bringing the total to 251. So far, 300,000 animals have been condemned for slaughter. 200,000 have already been killed. Some farmers are threatening resistance to the new cull. Others say simply, this is the end.
I certainly won't restock. I'll probably just let the land out to someone else, and I'll find something else to do.
Ironically, in areas free from infection, the government hopes in the next week it can relax restrictions that have drawn criticism for being unnecessarily tough. The measures announced in the Commons today by Mr Brown are a clear reflection of the growing severity of the foot and mouth crisis. Nevertheless, unnecessarily strict precautions can be counterproductive, making it even harder to contain an epidemic that's already ravaged the countryside. Maurice McGuinty, ITN, at the Ministry of Agriculture.
One area of revolt against today's new policy to slaughter healthy animals is mid-Wales. One angry farmer there told us today he would not kill his healthy herds and would refuse to let slaughtermen onto his land. Adrian Britton reports.
In the Kerry Valley in mid-Wales, Basil Probert's farm is foot and mouth free. His livestock has been given the all clear, but he's been told each animal will still have to be slaughtered. Financial ruin because 3 weeks ago he bought several animals at a market identified as a source of foot and mouth.
Myself, I bought a cow and calf and 1 lamb. I brought them here into a flock of 1,500 ewes and roughly 200 cattle. And they tell me that everything I got on this farm will be killed.
The cow and calf on the right and the lamb he bought have survived the incubation period without infection. Intensely angry, Basil Probert told me he'll defy any attempt to cull his healthy livestock.
They can't insist on it. They're crackers if they do. Nick Brown and his Labour government, well, hell bells, they just can't do it. I mean, I'll have 200 farmers here. He'll have to bring 400 people to turn them back. Then what's he going to do? There's no way we're going to stand for this.
Basil Probert has been running this farm for over 20 years. If he is forced to slaughter all the animals here, he says he doesn't know whether he would want to carry on here, where his father began farming over 50 years ago. And there are nearly 200 farmers like him who traded at the Welshpool market 3 weeks ago and whose livestock could now be wiped out.
It's unbelievable that a farmer may have taken one reject lamb home that day and will now face the prospect of having all his livestock slaughtered.
In Basil Probert's case, a livelihood he is desperate to protect. Adrian Britton, ITN, Mid-Wales.
Let's go to Westminster now and to our senior political correspondent, Joe Andrews. Joe, is the government aware of this growing anger among farmers tonight?
I think they're painfully aware of how farmers feel. In fact, Nick Brown has spent part of the evening meeting Ben Gill, the National Farmers Union leader. But what the Ministry of Agriculture said to me this evening was this wasn't some policy that they simply invented to try to combat this crisis. This is the advice that has been given to them by the chief vet, Jim Scudamore. This is what he says is necessary to try to combat this disease. And the officials say they hope that in the cold light of day, the farmers who are very angry at the moment will understand that this is what is necessary to return Britain to a foot and mouth free status.
And is there a feeling that in some areas the restrictions are now too tight?
I think, in a sense, this was the bright side of what Nick Brown was saying. What he was saying was that if we can go another week or 10 days and foot and mouth doesn't show any sign of spreading across huge areas which at the moment have been completely clean, then rural life in those areas could perhaps begin to get back to normal. And you might have a system where it was possible to move from clean area to clean area, or indeed from clean area into a foot and mouth area, but obviously not to move livestock from a foot and mouth area into a clean area.
Joe Andrews, thank you. For some time now, meat from areas unaffected by disease has been getting through to the shops, but even here farmers have a grievance. It's about the widening gap between what they're paid and what consumers are being charged by the supermarkets. Here's Chris Choi.
In store, the aftershock of foot and mouth is on display. Price increases. Farmers are angry because they're receiving less for their animals. Some suspect profiteering, and many shoppers agree.
It's certainly that the supermarket is in a position above the farmers to do it.
I think they're charging more. The prices have gone up in the shops.
Lie down, lie down. But farmers are enraged that those increased shop prices are not reaching them.
Someone somewhere along the line, when you see what the consumer is paying on a shelf in a supermarket, someone along the line is basically making money out of our misfortune.
Today, the food industry held a foot and mouth disease crisis meeting, but underlying that show of unity, resentment is growing. Farmers say that they're getting paid less for meat, while shoppers, if anything, are being charged more.
Early figures for this week do suggest average prices paid to lamb farmers are at least 40 pence per kilo down, but in the shops the price is up, 64 pence a kilo. Average pork prices too are down for the producers, about 12p a kilo, yet in the shops the trend is up, 48p a kilo.
Farmers are now being paid less, but you're not charging customers any less. Isn't that profiteering?
The processors can't export live animals, they can't export the skins, and therefore they have a serious cash flow problem. In order to stay in business, the processors have reduced their prices to farmers, but they haven't yet reduced the prices they charge us.
Abattoir costs have certainly increased, but tonight stores who value relationships with farmers are being reminded, in crisis you find out who your friends really are. Chris Choi, ITN.
Nice other news now. The unexpected and unexplained deaths of 4 children in one ward at a hospital in Slough are being investigated by police. The hospital says the deaths could be coincidence, but a woman nurse has been suspended and arrested. Harry Smith reports.
At Wexham Park Hospital tonight, the work of a busy district general goes on, despite the police inquiry which has shaken staff and patients here. In Ward 24, the children's unit, where 4 patients have now died in the last 9 months, senior hospital staff spent the day advising and reassuring parents. Police, who released a female nurse on bail last night after questioning her about the deaths, have also promised to keep grieving relatives informed. The hospital says doctors in the children's unit only became suspicious after the 4th death on Monday.
What we're looking at may well just be a coincidence. This may well just be a statistical cluster. We do not, at this stage, have any more information than that. But we have taken it very seriously and, as you can see, have asked the police to help us take the investigations further.
Both the police and the hospital authorities are taking great care not to release any information which could identify the nurse who's now been suspended, or the 4 patients whose deaths are under investigation. The hospital tonight set up a telephone helpline to offer help and advice to worried relatives. The police say it could be weeks or even months before their investigations are complete. Harry Smith, ITN, Slough.
Nerves settled a bit today on stock markets here and in America. The 100-share index in London, which fell nearly 100 points yesterday, closed more than 100 points up this evening. On Wall Street, the Dow has just closed more than 50 points up. The Frenchman P.Y. Gerbeau, former chief executive and star of the Millennium Dome, today abandoned his bid to stay on and keep it running as a visitor attraction. Helen Wright heard why.
He was the public face of the Dome, its staunchest defender and a relentlessly enthusiastic member of its staff.
There you go, Alex.
But tonight the man brought in to turn round the troubled attraction turned his back on it for good. P.Y. Gerbeau has abandoned plans to run the Dome as an entertainment venue because his consortium doesn't have the money or the desire to develop land at the site.
We are people that can run profitable
entertainment venues and visitor attractions that are really exciting and really appealing to the British public and internationally appealing. But we are not into making a big property deals. That's not our forte.
The man now in charge at the Dome believes PY has done the right thing.
I have to admit to being enormously relieved on behalf of PY, who was and remains a very good friend of mine. He's an extremely talented young man and he's got a very good future, and I think he's now cleared the decks to get on with that future.
A future that doesn't now include buying the Dome. Government officials say they're confident a buyer will be found for the Dome before the end of the year, even though they haven't yet finalised details of the selection process. In the meantime, it's costing over £2 million a month to wind up the Dome operation. And at the end of a sad day for PY, he says he plans to stay in Britain to try to find another challenge equal to that of the Dome. Helen Wright, ITN.
In tonight's football, Liverpool breezed through to the semi-finals of the UEFA Cup with a 2-0 win over FC Porto in the return leg. Danny Murphy got the first goal, Michael Owen the second. Here's Peter Staunton.
The good times are back for England's most successful European side, and in a frantic opening it was just like the old days as Liverpool attacked the Kop end and tore into a nervous looking Porto. And after half an hour, Liverpool made the breakthrough thanks to a huge slice of luck. As Danny Murphy's shot crept in off a post, the Porto players stood waiting for a handball decision which never came. Within minutes, Porto made a rare foray into Liverpool territory and almost equalised. Westerveld held his ground. Porto's goalkeeper was proving less effective, misjudging a Michael Owen header which bounced high into the corner. The hard work had been done in that 6-minute spell. Liverpool coasted through the second half. While they never looked in any trouble, they never looked likely to score again either. A semi-final place was in the bag. Final score, Liverpool 2, Porto 0. Peter Staunton, ITN Sport.
The main news again, there are signs of a revolt by farmers tonight against a tough new slaughter policy to get foot and mouth under control. It could involve the destruction of hundreds of thousands of healthy sheep and pigs. And police are investigating the deaths of 4 children over 9 months in one ward at a hospital in Slough. We end our programme tonight with the story of an American girl born without arms or shoulders who's just hugged her mother for the first time at the age of 11. What made it possible for Diamond XL was a pair of bionic arms. They cost not $6 million, but $70,000. Here's Sue Saville.
Meet the Bionic Girl. Diamond XL's robotic arms are controlled by electrodes attached to the muscles in her back and chest. Without arms, Diamond bravely coped as best she could, using her feet for everyday tasks. Now she'll be able to do what other children take for granted.
I'm looking forward to riding a bike, playing with my cousins, learning how to ride, learning how to get around the house better and help my mom and my sister and my family out.
Diamond will need new artificial arms as she grows.
Technology is good, getting better, but we still aren't at the age where you would see something like the $6 Million Man.
Showing off her new arms, Diamond wanted to express to her mother 11 years' worth of love and gratitude in their first real hug. Sue Saville, ITN.
And that's News at 10. Coming up next on ITV, the Tonight programme and this. Closing the net. Carol Vorderman on the chat room predators who invade our homes and prey on our children.
And if I lightly touched over your skin on your neck.
And the story behind the song that's captivated Britain. That's the Tonight programme in just a couple of minutes. I hope you'll join me there.
Gas, electricity and telephone.
Good evening. Cold and frosty across the northern half of Britain tonight, and that cold weather is going to push ever further south over the next couple of days. So although it's relatively mild and rainy at times in the south just now, we'll find the colder wintry weather pushing further south as we go in towards the weekend. The rest of tonight, though, the country is neatly divided into two. In the southern half it's cloudy and frost-free, though there will be rain and drizzle at times. Further north you are, frosty nights and wintry showers, especially in the northeast. A similar division tomorrow, the southern half of Britain, again a cloudy day with outbreaks of rain, mostly in the west. Further north, some sunshine, but that won't do much to help temperatures. It's going to stay cold in the north tomorrow, temperatures only around 4 or 5, a little warmer in the south. Good night.
Powergen. Gas, electricity and telephone.
It pays to be energy efficient, and now at Comet it pays even more. An energy efficiency subsidy will now save you up to £45 on an A energy rated fridge or freezer. Like this Service family size fridge freezer, now under £300. Lower prices and saving energy, that's Comet Sense.
As chairman of Vision Express, I am always looking for new ideas. These enhanced contact lenses, exclusive to us, have been proven in eye examinations to help you see better than ordinary contact lenses.
Could you read the number plate on that vehicle?
W277SEG. Enhanced contact lenses make small things bigger.
Vision Express, experts with vision.
Now the meat's in, let's get these roasties ready. Peel these, onions, horseradish, cabbage. Plenty of air in the batter for your Yorkshire, do you know, I can't be bothered.
Well, why should you? When you can get a choice of 3 roasts and 8 veg for £6.45 round at the Toby Carvery.
There's a new national service from the NHS. NHS Direct. For healthcare advice from specially trained nurses 24 hours a day, call 08 45 46 47.
Hey you, on your feet, turn around, what do you see? Same old sofa?
Get down to DFS now. There's at least £250 off every sofa in the spring collection. There's loads of them. Great sofa, $498, save over £250. And there's 4 years free credit with nothing to pay for a year on whatever you like. Real leather, $499. Now you're talking. It's the last few days for £250 off designer sofas at DFS.
What are you waiting for? Neil, come on!
Hurry down to Homebase now, where you'll find hundreds of great offers, like up to 15% hammered off all shower prices. And you can save over 1/3 off this Dulux paint.
Neil!
Come look at this!
They think I'm slightly crazy, but I'm just a banking babe. You're starving for a bargain. This card's gonna help you pay. It might look simple plastic, but it's worth its weight in gold. And don't it feel fantastic when there's more of this to hold? So if only may be so cold. We just caused a splash, living to give you extra. This card's extra flash, living to give you extra. We've gone oh so low, you're gonna really rate us. It's the way to go, subject to age and status.
The new Halifax credit card has a great rate. Apply now, and for the first 5 months, you'll get an extra low 3.9% APR.
I'm not going back to that prison, Ellen. We've got to run for it.
You just be a good little girl, eh?
What are you doing? I'm taking you back to Lark Cove. No! Nicky!
The new series.
She's got him.
Tuesday at 9.
Now tonight with Trevor McDonald.
tonight, online and in danger, why it's time to cut the chat. Harold Vorderman's campaign to stop the chat room paedophiles.
We've discovered that your child is just 3 clicks of the computer mouse away from a predator.
Your children and the voice of a predator.
I want you to sit on my knee, right up with your legs wrapped around my waist.
Plus an Arabian nightmare.
I confirm and confess that I was ordered to carry out an explosion here in Riyadh.
New evidence on those TV confessions.
The conclusion among Western security sources is that these men are not guilty.
Also tonight, the story behind the song. How Eva's song captivated Britain.
Her voice, it's perfect.
The stories that matter to you. Tonight with Trevor McDonald.
Caught on the net. So why can't we stop the chat room predators? Good evening. The terrifying ease with which paedophiles can trace and groom